It is amazing, Andy, I agree. It does seem like you now have like word stock happening here. The program is gigantic. Anyway, it's always an honor to be here. So I'm going to try to bookend with Cosm a tiny bit. These are 6 lines from one of Rumi's pieces. I don't know, I figure, as writers, we're always alone, and it's always easy to feel like you really don't know what the hell you're doing, or, that your mind is the weakest of all minds, etc. And this little 6 lines make me happy. I don't know why after a while. It's from the book Like This, if you're interested in Rumi. If you want to hold the beautiful one, hold yourself to yourself. When you kiss the beloved, touch your own lips with your own fingers. The beauty of every woman and every man is your own beauty. Oh, me. Well, I'm going to read a really new poem, and I'm going to read another poem, an older poem, and I think there's a relationship between them. And I figure, after a while, you think you always worry, will this work? Will people think? I don't know what you guys will think, but, just blow the poem and you hope for the best. Right, this is called Born. Born. With all these kids on the way, right? So it kind of falls in thematically, right? Born. Is this how it begins? A cry that does not know who's crying. Consciousness filling your head like smoke. The brain, a burning house. First surge of self as a thing apart. Scorched. The shock of touch, smell, and somehow hunger. The need to have what you cannot have without help. The unintentional world, wayward, aloof, then maybe relief in someone's arms. Is this where your heart rises, then tilts, between hunger and the moment you are fed? The mind sprung by want, your mouth, the first taste, the forgetting where you are and what's to come. This is a poem that's called Bonobo, and I'll just give a tiny framework on this. Some of you are familiar with the bonobo apes, and how they're like very close to us genetically, like I think like maybe a couple of fragments of a gene away, and their whole thing is sex. That's all they're about, sex and food, and sharing sex and then food, and then sharing food for sex, and that's what they do, right? And in this particular program I saw, they just don't have violence. If they get mad, they just have more sex. Anyway, so this poem is it's a piece kind of in the voice of a town crier, maybe who's slightly insane, right? It's just called Bonobo. Call Drea and Carlo, Jarita, Josefina, and George.